The opinions and views. The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another new week on a Monday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our friends up in that top right corner of the screen. Not going to point to it because I'll inevitably point the wrong way, like I always do. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town, they go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same thing on this show every single day. We follow their lead, go the extra mile for you, and we thank them for their constant support and sponsorship of this show, Running Point, since day one. We know it's taken a lot of twists and turns and changes and adjustments since the first day of the show, but Greenwood Chevrolet has never flinched, has never pulled back the rug, and always said we believe in what this show can be, and we strive to follow up their support with great content every day on Running Point, always going the extra mile for you, just like our good friends at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. We'll hear a little bit more about Greenwood and some things they got going on later on in the show. But today, we're going to continue our fall sports previews. We have two volleyball coaches to play for you today. Kristen Nesbitt, the head coach of the Canfield girls volleyball team that is coming back and trying to replace a lot of players. 8 seniors graduated last year. Kristen Nesbitt entering her second year as a head coach, trying to find out who's going to step up for that team. Got a lot of young players stepping into new roles, but she is very confident in these girls' ability. And then we also have Kira Venzel, the head coach of the Edgewood Warriors. The first time we're able to get a coach's corner from Edgewood Volleyball. They kind of came on the scene about halfway through the fall sports season last year, so this is going to be our first ever season preview interview with Edgewood Volleyball and Kira Venzel, and we'll try to get as many of those Ashtabula schools throughout the season as possible. But Kira Venzel will be the first one to come on Running Point, and there's no shocker that Venzel name pops up in Edgewood again. We definitely asked her about that and asked her about being a part of a family that seems like it's coaching in every single sports season, which doesn't even seem like it is. We have Randy Venzel, who coaches their girls basketball team, their softball team, and now Kira Venzel, who married into Randy Venzel's family, but still part of the Venzel name. She'll be coaching the volleyball team, and she is a very experienced volleyball coach. Coaches it 365 days a year, whether it be boys volleyball. She coaches club volleyball for girls, and then, of course, the high school varsity coach at Edgewood. So a very good volleyball mind that spends every day of the year just thinking about volleyball. So a great conversation with her is on tap as well in this show, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. But first, let's recap the Sunday softball game between Austin Town and North Carolina, kicking off the Little League World Series. Unfortunately for Austin Town, they did fall 5-0 in this game. It does not knock them out. Remember, just like regionals, it is a double elimination tournament until the championship game. So Austintown is going to have to do exactly what they did in regionals and fight their way out of the losers bracket from day one. There's not going to be any panic in this team. And I think that's apparent. I think the message that Coach Hamley is going to be saying today, as they're off today, they'll play again tomorrow, is going to be, don't panic. We've done this before. We'll do it again. Yes, the stage is higher. The competition gets better. But we have to do exactly what we know how to do and go out there, give ourselves a chance to win the game and put ourselves in positions to win. And that's exactly what they did on Sunday. I mean, it wasn't a game where you saw Austintown just making a bunch of mistakes. They were just outclassed by North Carolina. It was 2-0 going into the last inning in the sixth. Hamley was pitching well, keeping her team in the game. 1 run scored on a RBI ground out, and there weren't a lot of balls getting hit hard off of her. It was just one of those games that we've seen them before in baseball and softball. North Carolina was finding the holes in the infield, and their pitcher was just really, really good. Kept Austintown off balance. They only got maybe 2-3 players with a second at bat. It was not a good day for their offense. They weren't being able to work that lineup through to a third time. Remember, I said that in the game versus Iowa the second time around when I was previewing it. I said, this Austintown team, when things are going good, you'll know it because you'll see players get 3 at bats, and it just didn't happen on Sunday. They weren't able to keep the line moving. They only had 2 hits on the day. Bella Bumgart got a hit in I believe the lead off the second inning. And then Mila Hanley got a hit as well. So only real scoring opportunity Austintown had, those hits both coming. And then a couple of walks here and there, but no errors. And clean defensive game, which is what you want out of the Little League World Series. So, yes, Austintown falls to North Carolina by the score of 5-0. Well, like I said, it was 2-0. The last inning, North Carolina started to make a few adjustments. They were in the third time through the lineup. Their big hitters started to make some quality adjustments against Mila Hamley. And you saw probably the balls that were hardest hit all day probably came in that 6th inning when the lineup started to turn over again, and you saw these hitters face her for the third time. These are good softball players down there in the Little League World Series, and if you give them 3 looks at a pitcher, they're gonna start to figure her out a little bit. So once again, Austintown does fall in the first game of the Little League World Series. It's a double elimination tournament. They are still alive, and they will await the next game on Tuesday. So unlike regionals where they really made you have to work hard for the next several days to get out of the losers bracket, this time in the World Series, the loser actually is the one that gets the day off. Now, your Tuesday to championship is going to be real squeezed in, but the caveat is that you do get one day to kind of take in the loss and learn from it, get a practice in. Some coaches might like that. Some coaches might want to get right back on the field as soon as possible to try to get momentum back. We'll see how that affects Austintown. That is the only difference between the World Series schedule as it sits now for Austintown and the regional schedule is the fact that in regionals, it was the other way around. The winners got the day off on day 1, so they got that Monday off, and then the losers had to play Monday right off the bat, and then Tuesday, and then doubleheader, and then Thursday. So we'll see if that affects Austin not any different, being able to get right back on the field, try to grab momentum early, but now instead having to have that day where you think about it a little bit, you regroup a little bit, and then you go back on Tuesday, try to grab momentum on Tuesday, and it's going to be a long road back to the Little League World Series Championship. But one thing Austintown has proven in the districts and in regionals is that they can bounce back from a loss. Remember, they lost their second game of districts and had to go right into the elimination bracket, and then they lost their first game of the regionals and worked their way out of the elimination bracket. So no stranger to having their backs against the wall, and Austintown will have to do it again. Tuesday will await their opponent. It will be on ESPN Plus like it has been for the last couple rounds, and can't wait to see them fight and try to get on to Wednesday and try to stay alive in the Little League World Series. That's all you can do at this point. Double elimination tournament. You got to shake off losses. You got to come back strong. With that being said, since that is really the only sports we have going on right now, remember this weekend we have the 14U Youngstown baseball team heading to Washington, PA. I'm going to remind you about that every day until the weekend, because that is going to be something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on starting on August 11th as the 14U kids go to the Pony World Series in Washington, PA to represent Youngstown. Youngstown trying to go 2 out of 3 in Pony, Colt, and Palomino World Series. And that would be a great feat for them to be able to do that. That would be awesome for our area of Youngstown that we have absolutely planted our flag this summer as saying we have the best baseball in the state. We have the best baseball and softball in the country. I mean, we are saying this like, let's go. We have softball everywhere. We have baseball everywhere. We are killing it in diamond sports, and those 14U boys will have the chance to prove it yet again this weekend in Washington, PA. Much less of a trek than Illinois and Texas for the 16U and 18U. Washington, PA, about 45-ish to an hour away. I've been there plenty of times. That's where the Wild Things play baseball, and the MPF used to use the Wild Things Stadium. The MPF National Pro Fast Pitch League used to use the Wild Things Stadium to host their team, the PA Rebellion, who I would go to a lot to see the Akron Racers play against the Rebellion. So I've been to Washington, PA a lot, not that hard of a trek. And if you're in the mood to go watch some really quality baseball this weekend, get on down to Washington and support Youngstown and their run for a Pony World Series. So that'll be this weekend. We'll talk more about it as the week goes on. Hopefully we got our feelers out. We might get some guests on later on in the week to talk about it as well. And hey, we'll try to suck as much summer sports in as we possibly can before we have to face the inevitable reality that summer is going to end and the temperatures are going to start to get colder, and we're going to start to have to deal with the 50s, 60s, 40s, and then inevitably those dang temperatures in the 30s. Hopefully, like last year, we get kind of a elongated summer that goes into fall. Remember last year when we were sitting in like October and it was still, we'd have days periodically that we'd get in the 70s. That was awesome. I hope we get that again. We actually had a pretty mild winter last year too. Not too many bad snowstorms that were canceling games left and right. So knock on wood that we do the same thing, because winter can be no fun when it's not mild. So without further ado, let's jump right into those fall sports previews that we promised you guys. And we are going to go first on tap is Kristen Nesbitt, the Canfield volleyball head coach in her second year as the head coach is Canfield trying to replace 8 seniors. Let's hear how she plans to do it here on Running Point. Brought to you by Coco's Pizza, but Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet. Anthony Hartwig, we are here with a Canfield Volleyball Coach's Corner, the first one of the season preview with Kristen Nesbitt, second year head coach now. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me. I can't believe we're already about to start this season.
It's crazy. It goes like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk first about your reflections on last year, some of the things you're taking away from last year's Canfield volleyball team. I know you lost a lot of seniors, but the players that are coming back for you and the players that are making the return, what kind of things do you think you can take away from last year's lessons into this year's season?
So last year, the thing that I think I was like most proud of the girls for is that we competed in every single game that we were in. And in addition to that, I think every game we got a little bit better. So by the time the end of the season came, we were playing our best volleyball of the season. That's another goal that we have this year moving forward. We did graduate 8 seniors last year, so this year we do have a lot of spots that have been open, and this summer has been really fun to watch some younger girls and just some girls that have been a part of our program step up and take these roles and are doing a really, really nice job with them. So from last year's team, Isabella Bucciarelli, she was our outside hitter for us. She will be a senior this year. She played a lot for us last year. This year she's our captain. She's a great leader for us. She can do really anything we need her to do on the court. She's great in the back row. She's got a nice serve. She can swing. And she's just one of those girls that everyone rallies around. So we're really excited to have her back and just have her kind of experience on the court. Same thing with Caitlin Bacha. She was a right side for us last year. She'll be a right side again for us this year. She brings that experience factor. She is a really great leader for the younger girls. You know, she's always teaching them. I hear her when she's not on the court, helping them out, letting them know where the block's coming from, what to look for. And then in addition, we have a third senior, Alexis Lafour, who played a little bit of back row for us last year. She'll continue to be our back row player, our back row specialist really for us this year, that has some experience coming from last year.
Those are your seniors that last year's fans are probably pretty familiar with. But like you said, there are a lot of open spots because of the 8 seniors that left. Who are some new faces for this Canfield volleyball team that fans need to, know before the season starts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have a great squad. So I talked about my 3 seniors. Then I'm going to my juniors. Cameron Zanko, she is a junior for us. She's kind of one of those utility girls. She can be put in any position, and she's going to make her teammates around her better. She has such a great energy about her. She'll probably Are we good? Do you hear me still?
You froze halfway through that answer.
Okay, good. I thought it froze on my screen, but we're back. So, like I said, Cam will just be one of those girls that is going to make everyone around her better and just has such a positivity to her. She's one of our captains this year as well. Meredith Ross, she did play some for us last year as well. She's going to be a middle hitter. Really good strength in the front row. I've really seen her kind of step up over the last 2 years, and I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a big year for her. And then Lauren Mizak, she came to us. She was not a part of Canfield last year, so we are so happy to have her on our team and in our program. She's a great addition. She's got a great swing, a great serve. She'll be one of our outside hitters this year. Those are just our juniors. So we got every level on here. So then we have some sophomores that'll be a big part of our team as well. Carly Fleming is going to be a setter for us. And Carly is just so athletic that there's balls that I'm like, there's no way she's going to get to. She gets a perfect set out of it. Again, she brings just a competitiveness to our team. And same thing with that, her best friend also, Jenna Treveri, is another sophomore who's very similar. She's a middle hitter, super athletic, is great at the net, is really aggressive with her blocking. She keeps getting better and better. So I think the two of them and their competitiveness and the athleticism is going to go a long way for us. And then we have 3 freshmen that are also going to be in the rotation. Vivian Biro will be one of our setters for us. Just a positive person, has really great hands. Ashton Hanusak will be one of our main hitters. She'll be an outside for us, has a great swing. And then Lily Weaver, who's probably one of our tallest girls. Again, another one that has a great swing, play a little bit on the right side, just got a big block for us.
Let's talk about setting, because you just went over your 2 young setters that you're going to be relying on this year, and setting is the most important thing in volleyball. It's your quarterback, it's your point guard, whatever, insert important position in whatever sport you want to do. And you have 2 girls that are kind of going to be making their varsity setting debut. What kind of things have you seen from them already to build relationships and rhythm with the hitters of your varsity team?
The growth I've seen from both Vivian and Carly from when we started back in April, May to now has already been unbelievable. And I expect that to just keep getting better and better. Both Viv and Carly are just girls that want to do well, and they want to make their teammates better, and they want to win. And those things I think go a long way when you're a setter. So their teammates around them know, my setter is going to do everything they can to give me the best chance I have to get a good swing. They are working all the time. Before we were off a week before tryouts, and I know both of them were at home practicing every day, and so their work ethic is going to go a really long way for us. So even though they are young, I have full confidence that they will be a great addition for us and are going to put us in the best position to win.
Let's venture on to your schedule. We'll start with your conference, the AAC, obviously. Small conference, but a very good conference with teams like Fitch, Howland, you guys, Warren Harding, etc. What do you expect? Boardman, can't forget the Spartans. But what do you expect out of your conference this year, and how do you think it'll all shake up?
It's really nice being in a conference that every game is a game you have to go out and compete. So, you talked about Harding, Howland, Boardman, Fitch, like every one of those games we see as a winnable game for us, but we know, you're not going to just walk on the court and win in any game that we have on our schedule. And we love that our schedule is full of good competition because we think that's going to make us better and better. So our goal obviously is we want to go out and we want to win the AAC. But we know that we need to do a lot of things on our end really well in order to make that happen. But we're excited. Yeah.
You've moved up as one of the veteran coaches in the AAC
with
Fitch and Boardman both getting brand new coaches this year. You're a veteran now.
Yeah, you're 2 as head, and I'm a veteran. So
let's talk about the non-conference schedule. Obviously, you guys have a lot of wiggle room with just 4 other teams in the conference of the AAC. What are some teams that pop up non-conference that you're really excited about?
So our first game of the season is against Hoban, who always has a great program. So that'll be a good kind of first game for us to see where we're starting the year at. Some other games that we look forward to, Mineral Ridge was a great game for us last year. We'd like to get them this year. That's one we're looking forward to. Girard's another great game for us. We're looking forward to that. We're going to an invitational at Perry. It's going to be a great competition there. We know we're playing 3 games. We're not exactly sure who we'll be playing, but we played Perry last year in our tournament. And that was a great game for us, just a great competitiveness. Lakeview's always got a great team. So there's a lot of games that we're looking at that we're really excited for. We're happy that we don't have any kind of easy games. So we know we're trying to prepare in the preseason to get us ready for that difficult schedule.
Wanted to ask you because you not only are the varsity head coach of the volleyball team, you're also on staff for the basketball team last year, and they had that magical run all the way to the regional finals. Being on that staff, seeing that team do that, and seeing what kind of it took to get to a regional final, what did you take away from that season that you're trying to bring into your second year as a head coach of the volleyball program?
All of our female sports at Canfield last year, and really I just have a tradition of being really, really successful. So I think this last year for basketball, for softball, for soccer, for all of these sports to have such a successful season, I think the girls just in general all kind of rallied around each other and were excited for other sports to do well. And I think that kind of confidence has now carried over into volleyball as we're ready to go and kind of go on our own same run. And I think that makes a big difference when you're in just a winning culture and your school district is one that rallies around each other when you're in tournament time and moving down. I'm thankful for the opportunities I get at basketball too, because it helps me become a better volleyball coach. And so I see how they prepare for some of those games of teams that you don't see throughout the regular season and are not, teams that are right down the road from you. So I think knowing how to prepare better for our, who we're going to play, our opponents, I think is something I really took away from this basketball season. And also just kind of giving the girls the confidence of, you guys can do this. You've seen it done. It's our turn to go make a little run now too.
Month of August is when you transition from open gyms to mandatory practices
Mhm.
and scrimmages before you get into the first game of the season. What are some big goals that you want to see your team accomplish before the first game of the season in Hoban?
A big thing for us is, like I said, we're kind of young in the aspect of experience. So I think it's my job to figure out, give us a lot of opportunities to play and kind of learn the girls you're playing next to. Not only learn them as like volleyball players, like their strengths and weaknesses on the court, how we need to play next to each other, but also just kind of get to know them on a personal level. And I think the more close we are as a team and the more connected we are and the more they kind of understand, the better chemistry we'll have. I think the more successful we're going to be. So I think what I focused on in this preseason is, one, I need to get them a lot of touches on the ball. But two, I need to give them some really good competition and find us some really good scrimmages so we can play against some of the best competition around the state, really, leading up to our first game. And the third is, we do a lot of team bonding, just chances to talk with one another, freshman through senior, freshman, JV, varsity level, it does not matter, just to kind of build that chemistry and have just an atmosphere and an environment that's a positive place to be around.
Last year was your first summer, your first preseason. You were doing this all for the first time. What adjustments have you made from the learning experiences that you had last year getting the team ready for the start of the season?
So this year, one thing we did that we did not do last year is we brought in Match Point Volleyball. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but it's like an outside company. They come in and they ran 3 days, and that kind of kicked off our summer for us. I think it was a great start just to hear some outside instruction. They were really knowledgeable. They kind of got our summer rolling for us. We looked and we added some more kind of summer scrimmages, and then we still did an overnight camp as a varsity group. We went to Cedar Point and we spent 2 nights up there. So I think just the more competition that we could get throughout the summer, the better off that we'll be when season approaches. And then we take the last week off right before a season to let the girls kind of rest and reset before we go full go again. And then today we had a scrimmage this morning. We have 2 scrimmages next week and a scrimmage the following week.
Whew, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Want to ask you about your coaching staff. Obviously, you don't do this by yourself. Who are the big players and the big people behind you that are making this Canfield program what it is?
Yeah, I can't say enough great things about my coaching staff. Not only are they just great coaches, but they're just great people, and they make it so enjoyable to be around. And when you're at the school all hours of the day, like tonight, we have a lock-in and we're spending the night in the school. There's no one else I'd rather be around or with. So my JV coach is Holly Lamping, same coach as last year. Great intensity. She runs a lot of our like strength and conditioning stuff in the summer. And then my freshman coach is Amanda Fitzgerald. Again, just a great person. She's a great coach too for our freshmen transitioning, and she really helps them get adjusted to not only just volleyball season but just like the school year in general. So I think we have a great balance. I also want to talk about my middle school coaches because we all work together and I appreciate everything that they do. So Carrie Wyand is my 8th grade coach. This year we're actually going to have 2 8th grade teams because we had so many girls interested in the 8th grade level. We had so much talent down there. So Bree Fischel, who was one of our seniors last year, is also going to come on and be one of our 8th grade coaches. And then Amber Chapman is our 7th grade coach. She was our 7th grade coach last year. I played with her when we went to high school together. Honestly, just all through, I really cannot thank them enough for all that they do for not only me, but for the program and for the girls. And I really think they put our girls in the best position to be successful.
All right, one last thing I want to ask before we let you go. The first year as a head coach, you're installing a culture, you're trying to install a philosophy, get everybody to buy in. But now it's the second year where you start to see, the labors of that, the culture start to stick. What are some things that you're seeing from year 1 to year 2 that make you really proud that is sticking with these girls about the culture you want to implement and the philosophy that you want to implement in this Canfield team?
I mean, the big things for me is we're always going to compete in everything. And that means every drill, every practice. That means competing in school, giving 100% on and off the court. And I've noticed that that's something that we do. If we're in the gym for a 3-hour practice, if we're in there for an hour, we really focus on the girls competing. And I think they're starting to really buy into that and take everything as a competition. And now it's carrying over to game-like situations. The next thing we really focus on, and a big thing for us, is just being a positive teammate and being there for your teammates and cheering for them and being happy for their successes. And that's something that's a huge thing to me. I'm only going to play you if you're a great teammate. And so regardless if you're the best player in the gym, the worst player in the gym, you got to be a good teammate. And I kind of preach that to the girls all the time, like what that means. And I think the girls have really bought into it, regardless of the grade. I see them, helping them before and after practice, picking them up, taking them to practice. I see the girls going team bonding. To me, that makes me so excited to see everyone together and everyone celebrating each other's successes. And so I think those are really the two things that we hit hard, because if you're having fun and you're being great teammates and you're competing, I really think good things are going to happen on the court. And I think the more they buy into that, and I really think they are buying into it, and I have to say our two captains, Booch and Cam, have really kind of instilled that culture into the program from day one with these girls, and I really think it's carrying over. So our goal throughout the season is to just keep that same positivity, and we're going to try to do like a little book study with the girls just to kind of remind them and do some little activities to keep those program expectations in line.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and giving us a little bit of a preview. Ysn will be at your first game at Hoban, so make sure that Canfield fans, if you can't make the trip up to Akron, make sure to tune in to Ysn. I believe Ty Bartell will be on the call, so that's exciting. Coach, good luck this year. We can't wait to talk to you real soon.
Thank you so much for everything. I'm sure we will be talking soon.
That was Kristen Nesbitt, the head coach of the Canfield volleyball team, previewing her upcoming season. And one of the things that I want to say about Canfield is, yes, they're replacing a lot of talent, but I think Carly Fleming, I've watched her all the time during basketball, watched her in JV last year. I go to all the JV games just to make sure I'm set up in time. So I watched her in JV last year. I mean, this kid's an athlete. And I know they're losing both their setters. And that's going to be a big question. I talk about it a lot in volleyball, how important that setting position is and how big of a step it is to lose the setter and have to replace a new one. But one of the things I think is positive in Canfield's direction, when you lose a setter and you're bringing a new one, a lot of the girls that had a rhythm and had a relationship with their two senior setters, they've graduated too. So I think everyone's starting on a new slate. So if you're going to have to, start from, I don't want to say start from scratch, but if you're going to have to bring in a brand new setter, I think the good news for Canfield is she's working with a lot of the girls that she worked with last year in JV anyway, because there's a lot of girls moving up in the ranks and up in the into the varsity level. So I think there's going to be not as much of a growing pain as you would see if you had, let's say, all those hitters last year for Canfield were juniors, and then their setters were seniors, and the senior graduated, of course. But then you have all these hitters that were accustomed to one setter still there for their senior year, and they had to get used to a brand new setter coming in, trying to learn the hitters, trying to build relationships, trying to build that rhythm, that instinctness that you have to have with your hitters as a setter. So, yes, it's always hard to replace the setter. Yes, it's important. It's the most important position in the sport. But for Canfield's sake, at least they don't have a bunch of hitters that are coming back that are used to one setter having to make the adjustment to another one. With that being said, I just looked at a comment, but it's not. It's just a spam link. With that being said, we're going to take a break here on Running Point. When we get back, we'll have Kira Venzel, the head coach of the Edgewood Warriors volleyball team, doing her first season preview here with YSN. We can't wait to cover Edgewood volleyball all year, and we'll hear from her after this break on Running Point. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology, from where it happens,
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
on air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update,
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Clint. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm going to go ahead and pop them back in that top right corner so you can know where to go if you're in the market for a newer used vehicle. Oops. Put on the wrong thing. We're in the market for a new used vehicle. There you go. There's Greenwood. The other thing you can go to for Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown is a test drive of the 2024 Chevy Trax. The brand new Trax is it is bigger, it is bolder, and it is the only place where you can test drive it. That is Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Schedule a test drive of the 2024 Chevy Trax to see all the vehicle has to offer. Visit Greenwood Chevrolet online or stop by the showroom to test it for yourself. GreenwoodChevrolet.com/tracks test drive can get you right to the spot where you want to schedule a test drive with the 2024 Tracks. Greenwood is really excited about this, and they are the exclusive spot where you can test drive that new slick looking and awesome 2024 Chevy Trax. If I could drive, I'd test drive it. So head on down to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Check out the showroom and ask them about the test drives possibilities of a 2024 Chevy Trax. We thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant support of Running Point since day one, and we will continue to go the extra mile for you just like they do and follow Greenwood Chevrolet's lead. With that being said, we're going to continue our fall sports previews, go right into the next one, and it is volleyball again out of Ashtabula County. Edgewood gets some love in this one. Kira Vinsel, yes, another Vinsel in the coaching circle at Edgewood, joined me just before the show to talk about her volleyball season, what she expects from Edgewood, and I kind of took the opportunity to learn about this team. We didn't really get to cover them too much last year. Edgewood was a team that signed about halfway through the fall sports season, so this is Kira Vinsel's Ysn debut, and I can't wait to cover this Edgewood team throughout the volleyball season. They sound pretty dang exciting. Anthony Hartwig here with a Edgewood volleyball coach's corner for the first time. We're with the Edgewood Warriors for the volleyball season, and Kira Vinsel takes the time to join us today from Edgewood. Kira, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it, and it's another Vinsel. I mean, this family name keeps popping up every season in Edgewood. That's my first question for you. I mean, what's it like to carry on that Edgewood coaching legacy? You got, obviously a Vinsel that coaches basketball and softball as well.
I'm very proud of it, honestly. I'm proud of not only the name, but I'm proud of the kids. I'm proud of my family, just in general. That I can't say enough about my family, just in general. The amount of people that step up in the Edgewood program is astounding. But to be a part of the Vinsel family and the kids, I mean, there's so many Vinsel kids coming through. I'm going to be honest with you, I can't even keep track of them myself. So, but I'm very proud of my name.
Where's this Vinsel coaching bug come from? Is there someone like deep in the past of the Vinsel family that started coaching that got all you guys into it? What's it come from?
Actually, we're all just athletes. So, obviously I wasn't a Vinsel. I was married into the Vinsel family, but even back when I was in high school, I'm a former Cold Grove. I went to Harbor, but even back when I was in high school myself, my husband and I, we traveled, we played co-ed softball together. Randy, we played in co-ed softball together. Christy, his wife, we played together in some co-ed leagues. So we've just all been playing since we were kids, and just translated over into playing and coaching our kids. And we've been doing that since they were young. To speak to that, I had McKenna Vinsel. So let's just get right into that. Mm-hmm. McKenna Vinsel is now playing for me in her senior year. I've had her since she was 5 years old. So going through that, I took McKenna when she was 5 years old, taking her through JOs and, going to Randy and Christy and taking their little daughter with me on trips with my son, because I coached Noah at the time too. And then obviously my daughter Faith. I was even taking Zach with me to JO travels back in the day. And now, obviously twinfold, 10, 15 years later, I've got now McKenna as a senior. So it's nice to see that I've had her at the beginning of her season and her career, and now I get her at the end. But again, going back to it, we've just all played together, and it's translated into coaching our kids and now into high school. So we've just all played together since, back since I can remember. I really don't know a time where I haven't played with these guys.
It doesn't exist. Let's talk about this Edgewood volleyball team. Obviously, it's Ysn's kind of first chance to see it. We signed Edgewood towards the end of the fall season last year. We're so proud to have Edgewood and the rest of the Ashtabula County schools on board with us. Let's meet the team a little bit. Some of the returning starters that are going to be a big part of this team, and then also some new faces that Edgewood fans should be familiar with.
So obviously, I just talked about McKenna. So McKenna's going to be a big force for us. She's our libero. She is our defensive specialist. McKenna's the person that sees the floor. She's our captain. She's going to be our voice of reason. She's also going to be just the overall leader. There's very little of that court that girl can't cover. So McKenna's going to be a name that you're going to hear throughout this year, and certainly somebody in the county that everybody's going to know. So when you come and watch Edgewood, you're gonna immediately know who McKenna is. Another one, and obviously McKenna's a starter for us and returning letter winner. We also have McKenna Rhodes. She played Oppo for Edgewood last year. She's now going to be filling in some of the shoes we lost 5 seniors last year. She's going to be playing outside for us. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's also somebody you're not going to miss out there on the floor. She's very very vocal. She's very loud. You're going to know who McKenna Rhodes is just by watching. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's dominant. I'm looking for big things from her this year, and we're not going to miss much in her filling in those shoes. We also have junior Gianna Iannetta. She's my setter. She's a returning letter winner. I'm extremely proud of where she's at this point in the season. We changed our offense. We've changed our defense. We've really put a lot of pressure on her and her hands and what we're expecting from her this year, and she stepped into that role immediately and with little trouble. She's done a really good job for us, and I'm extremely proud of her. We also have junior Leah Guyton. She's a returning letter winner. She's one of our middles. She jumps out of the gym. I'm looking for big things from her. One of the goals she has is really from a blocking aspect, but she's also one of our bigger hitters, so I'm looking for big things from her. She's a gymnast. She's extremely talented, so I'm really proud of where she's at as well. We also have junior Isabel Stern. She was one of the leading hitters. I did look at max preps. I saw that she was statistically one of the stronger ace hitters for us, even over Sloan that we had from the outside. She's coming back from injury, so she's still not where she wants to be. I know she's working to get her strength back up to where she wants to be, but I'm looking for big things from her. She'll be returning for us and starting for us out of the middle. Off the bench, we have junior Bethany Adams. She played, and she's a returning letter winner. She's going to be coming off the bench. She's another one of our middles. You'll see her. I expect big things from her coming through the bench. We have a sophomore who's new to varsity this year, and that's going to be Addie Lamson. She's put in some time in the offseason. Looking for big things from her. She's going to be filling in the backside for us. She's a force to be reckoned with in her own right. Very strong, packs a big punch in a little body. We also have sophomore Lucy Palillo. Her sister was Sophie Palillo, was a DS. Lo and behold, Lucy is going to be a DS for us. If I could duplicate her, she is very much like her sister. She's very strong. She's one of our leaders, put the time in the off season. If there's anybody that runs a sprint, Lucy's in the front line. She's pushing our girls. I can't say enough about Lucy. She's somebody you're going to see a lot from. She throw her body on the floors. There's really little balls that she won't go after defensively. You're going to see a lot from her. Last but not least is our freshman. That's going to be Faith Bensel. You're going to hear a lot of her. She's also my daughter. She's going to be the outside. She is an unbelievable vertical. She jumps out of the gym. She puts time in the off season. The girls go crazy. I'm extremely proud of what the girls have done as far as embracing her and allowing her to fill these big shoes. Faith puts the ball down and the girls just go nuts. So I'm very happy with where Faith is at, just filling in roles as a freshman. She doesn't look like a freshman out there on the floor, but you're going to hear big things from her, and you're going to see big things from Faith. She doesn't look like a freshman, but she jumps out of the gym and she puts the ball down.
Graduated 5 seniors last year, and that's a pretty big class to graduate. Yeah. And I'm sure there were a lot of great leaders in that class as well. Yeah. How much do you see the legacy, the footprints of their leadership on the players that you're going to lean on this year to be a leader?
When you lose 2 big outsides, that's a big chunk that you're missing. So when we came in through the summer, we knew, and we discussed a lot about that. We talk about goals. And when we had and discussed what we wanted, we knew that those were going to be some of the big holes that we needed to fill. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm extremely happy with where we're at. We have McKenna Rhodes and we have Faith Bensel that have already filled those shoes. So I'm going to be I really don't think we're going to see a whole lot missing from that. I look back at stats too. You have Isabel Stern, who was leading in aces coming out of the middle. So I really think that overall we're going to be okay, even without those voids. As far as the DS position, we have McKenna, who's just defensively, she, without a doubt, was the leading defensive player for Edgewood. We lost 2 DSs in Stalter and Palillo. We're going to have that in McKenna anyway, and we have Lucy Palillo that's stepping up. And I don't think we're going to defensively hurt too bad with those 2 losses. So overall, I think the voids that we lost, we're going to be able to replace with the growth that we have. So the future for us is bright, not only with the girls that we've been able to replace with the losses that we have, but because we're young. So I only have 1 senior that technically plays on the floor. So, if you really look at that in not just this year, but going into next year, the strength is wonderful. I mean, being able to replace McKenna next year is going to be something different. But as of right now, and then looking into my future, I mean, Edgewood looks good.
Let's talk about your schedule, and we obviously have to start with your conference. And we know from basketball, baseball, softball seasons that this conference is very good, very competitive. What do you expect out of your conference this year, and what are some ways that you think Edgewood can really contend at the top of it?
Well, obviously Jefferson's going to be a tough one for us. Jefferson's, they're packing a lot of punch and hitters, and defensively they're good as well. So I know that Jefferson's going to be point for point. It's going to be a battle. But let's be honest, anytime that you're playing in county in these rivalries, these gyms, they pack. It's when you're playing in county, these gyms pack the house. So you're no longer having to travel so far. Where you only have a handful of fans. So and a lot of these places are doing like theme nights, and they're packing the entire stands with kids. So that changes the atmosphere, and it changes the emotions, and it changes the way that the outcome of the games are. So when you have in-county rivalries like that, it changes so much. So I'm going to tell you that game to game, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, it can change what's happening out there on the floor. So I'm not taking anything for granted county-wise. But I know Jefferson's going to be a battle for us. I know Geneva's always going to be a battle for us. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if it's not a challenge, I mean, what are we playing for, right? So I'm ready to battle, and I'm looking forward to every single game that we have on our schedule. Out of conference games, I know we have South Range. They're pretty sound, and they've got they're usually coached pretty well. So I'm looking forward to the out of conference match I have there. I also have Chardon, which is an out of conference match. I'm looking forward to, that's a try match I have. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Hopefully they'll help to prepare me, in the off season. We also still have Perry on our schedule, which is an out of conference match. And let's be honest, that's always a great match for us too. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And we know that that's going to be a battle point for point.
How much have you seen this schedule really prepare your girls for what they're going to face come tournament time? I mean, that's the point. You have to build a schedule that's going to prepare you for the tournaments. That's the whole goal. So how have you seen that happen?
Well, my schedule is tough as it is. My scrimmage schedule right now is also tough. We've got a hard scrimmage schedule. I mean, I even got Kirtland, Mayfield, we got West G, got Berkshire. The schedule that Steve has and what he's put on the schedule for us is tough as it is. We've got Maplewood in here. Like I said, he put South Range in here. He put Perry, which I'm glad he didn't take them off the schedule. So as far as the schedule itself, and as well as I do, even the in-county, going back to the old NEC, what we have with the CVC, this is going to be a tough schedule. So, and Jefferson's extremely tough. So I'm looking forward to this year and ready to battle. I know it's going to be tough.
Since it's our first year with you, I want you to kind of talk about your volleyball journey and how you got into volleyball coaching and what kind of things you love so much about it that keep you coming back to coach this sport.
Well, I started my career in 2001. Most of the people that know me know that. I started off coaching with Steph Kubek back at St. John's. This is going to be entering my 23rd year in coaching. I coach year round. I don't have an off season. I coach boys. I coach girls. Steph and I, we went to districts many, many years ago and, couldn't get past to a sectional game. And, we looked at why. And, at the time we didn't have club ball around us. And, we started Club Ashtabula. We're going to be coming up on 20 years of that. And, one of the reasons that, I got into coaching was, look back at my athletic career and, I wanted to be vested in my community and, one of the things that kept me, grounded and kept me involved and kept me pretty much out of trouble was playing sports. And, I want to be able to do that for other kids, and I want to have opportunities for other kids and provide opportunities for kids in this area. And I want to be vested in my community and give kids opportunities that once weren't available when I was their age. You didn't have club ball that was available back when I was their age. And, it gives them an edge. It gives them, a lot. It's a whole year's experience outside of, regular season. And it matters, when they're out there on the court, and you can see the kids that put the time in the off season when they're coming back into the gym, and it changes the game. And, that this is what you're seeing, when you get into high school. This is what is putting the battles out there on that court and making those long volleys, is because these kids are putting the time in there, and it's because they're putting the experience. It's the experience that's showing out on the court. And to me, that's what I love. That's what drives me. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I'm proud to know that, I'm helping those kids give that edge. But not only that, I love coaching. I love being a part of kids. I love knowing that, they're better when they leave me, and, that I'm a part of something better than myself, and, that I'm able to give back to kids.
How would you define your coaching philosophy and culture that you've installed into this Edgewood program?
Well, Edgewood itself has a family. We are family. That's something that Edgewood has already adapted before I came there. So that's something that we already incorporated. We're putting it on the back of our shirts: one team, one family. So that's something that I embrace, because it was something that was already a part of the culture at Edgewood. Myself, if you don't know me, the kids will tell you, I'm all about court presence. I'm very vocal. I'm very much involved. I like to be involved in pretty much any success that they have, as well as their failures. So, I'm very much, I celebrate their successes. I'm on the sideline. You're going to see me cheering. You're going to see me up and down that court as soon as they do something right. I'm very much about communication, trust. It builds trust, and it builds, a relationship that, it speaks volumes to the kids that are coming up into the program. So, I'm very much about court presence and teaching court presence. We as coaches, we obviously volunteer our time, and because we give that time and we build that communication and teach that court presence, we read between those lines. We read what's there, between the lines, and we see that raw talent. We help to build that. But for me, it's really about the court presence and communication, which builds trust.
Before we let you go, I do want to give you a chance to go over your coaching staff and all the people that are behind you that make this volleyball program what it is, because we know that coaches get the interviews and they get the limelight, but you don't do it alone, and we know that. So we want to give you the chance to shout out the people that are behind you that make this volleyball program what it is.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for my coaching staff. I say that all the time. I'm very fortunate. I have an assistant varsity coach, and that's Stephanie Kubek. We've been together for a long time. I'm very thankful that I have her. I have a JV coach, Riley DeGeorge. I'm very thankful for her. She played in college, brings a lot of knowledge with her. Tiffany Salinas, my 8th grade coach, coaches with me with Club Ashtabula. And then I have Jana Burke, Longhofer, who's my 7th grade coach, also coaches with Club Ashtabula. Lo and behold, you're going to hear another Venzel. I have a volunteer, Jordan Venzel. I swear she's a utility and coaches with pretty much every staff, but she's on my volunteer staff. And then I also have Stephanie Marcy. She's on my volunteer staff. She's been with me a long time, coached with me at the junior high. So I have her as well.
If there wasn't a Venzel on staff, I'd be worried.
No doubt.
Coach, what I want to do before we end this is just give the Edgewood fans the first game. They can come watch you guys and see the Lady Warriors play on the court.
Our first game, it's going to be away. We play on the 21st, and it's going to be with St. John's. And then our first home game is going to be August 23rd, and it's with PV. I'm going to support.
All right, Warrior fans, we know that you come out in droves, so get out there, support this volleyball team. You heard where you can go. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talk to us about this Edgewood program that we're so excited to cover all year, and we wish you the best of luck. We can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do. We really appreciate you.
Kira Venzel, the head coach of the Edgewood volleyball team, giving us a solid preview of the Edgewood volleyball season, and can't wait to hear from them all year. And a lot of Venzels, right? A lot of Venzels everywhere. McKenna Venzel on the floor, Faith Venzel on the floor as a freshman, Jordan Vinsel on the coaching staff, Kira Vinsel as the head coach. I think Edgewood is kind of Vinsel City at this point. But we thank Kira and Coach Nesbitt as well for their time as we sign off to today's episode of Running Point. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, we'll be back tomorrow with more. 1 to 2 is your time slot. Then we'll be back tomorrow on Running Point. As always, we are brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. And we will see you tomorrow from 1 to 2, everybody.